I'm not a painter. I don't use anything in isolation. I use paint, I use ceramic, I use print, I use drawing, I use found materials, I work on different surfaces. When I saw something that was beautiful and it was maybe decorated or it was handmade or there was something that was just, you know, attractive about it, those things really stayed with me. And knowing that somebody was able to make that sort of really fascinated me as a child. You know, I want to make things. There's a thread that's always run through my work that is recognisable. It's a language that you develop, and the materials I use are very, very important. So I think that's one of the key things about my work. That's always what interested me. It was finding materials that I could manipulate, and then it was finding a way of combining those materials to produce a consolidated or a resolved finished either surface or piece. Some of the paintings have three-dimensional aspects to them, so they have bits of wood that have been sort of either found and not altered, or other things that have been altered, or bits of clay that I've worked on that are then added to the surfaces. And then the three-dimensional work that I use has a painterly quality to it as well. So the boundaries are always moving and quite fluid for me. It's very instinctive, the way I approach the work. I don't work from a concept, I work from process. It's not always about incorporating other materials onto the painted surface. In fact, the painted surface has been a much later development in my work. My early work was ceramic, and it was working with clay, and it was only clay, and then it became about using the clay as a surface. So then I painted and made marks and drew onto the surface of the clay. So the clay and the print and the drawing was a way that I worked long before I ever had an interest in paint. It's the materiality of something that interests me. So once I get my hands on a material that I feel I can use, then I practice using it, and I use it in a way that sort of fits with my, my visual understanding of what it is I want to make, want to do, I want the work to look. There's a certain mastering that I want to achieve, a mastering of different materials. I get really good feedback from people who come to the studio, I have to say. I do get people who come in and don't really say very much, which is fair enough as well. But in recent years, when we've had the open day, I've had a lot of members of the public come through and have said to me things like, it's very calming, it feels very peaceful or still or reflective. That's not necessarily something that I am striving to say. That's not the message, but there's something about those aesthetics that obviously really appeal to me. If people look at it and like it for whatever reason, because it says something to them, then that works for them and that works for me. But I'm not really about saying this is what this piece means and this is what that piece means, because in a way they don't really stand alone as statements in themselves. My work is always in a body, it's always a body of work, it's always a series of work, and if one or two or more of those pieces like really chime with me or somebody else, then I'll exhibit it or I'll sell it. Feedback's really, really, really important, but I'm just saying that there's it doesn't always knit, what other people think it means and what it means to me, and I don't really go to great lengths to sort of over-explain the work. It's more about me just sort of resolving that sort of that surface at that time, using the sort of imagery that I do.